I'm JP Tuesday.
And I'm Kiki Cannon. As lifelong Disney fans, the work of countless talented Disney creatives have shaped our lives.
Now, as the Disney catalog expands, we're taking a journey through film and television to discover if that spark that shaped us as children lives on in adulthood.
Does your favorite Disney media still cast that same spell? Join us as we find out. We are Rewatching the Magic.
Deadpool, Kiki.
Oh my god, Deadpool! I felt a disturbance in the nerdosphere, as if a million geeks screamed out and were immediately, not silenced, but, pleasured all at once, perhaps.
That's a different line in the Deadpool movie that we cannot say in PG podcast.
Never let it be said that Ryan Reynolds does not know how to pleasure a fan base, because, oh my god.
Yeah, we cannot wait for our usual Monday episode to gush about this news. But yeah, we are recording this just over a day after the first video came out. Ryan Reynolds posted on all of his socials his Deadpool update of what Deadpool 3 was going to be.
And we are recording this within like an hour after he dropped the second video in his Deadpool update.
Part Hugh.
By the time you hear this, there may be 4 or 5 more videos. We do not know what is coming as we're recording this. By the time we're recording this, we're already recording it too late, we feel.
Oh, I mean, can they keep this up? New videos every day for the next 2 years?
I hope so.
Ryan Reynolds, who knows?
Just lock that bromance in a house together and keep filming it.
So yeah, for those of you who haven't been paying attention, Ryan Reynolds posted a video saying Deadpool 3 was coming up. First, he apologizes for missing D23, but considering from between his brewery, his soccer team, and his mobile service, and not to mention the other film projects he's doing,
and the fact that isn't his wife pregnant again or something, and like. I don't know.
The man's been busy.
Yeah. Your man's got stuff going on, all right?
If you're listening to this, you've seen the video, so we don't need to describe
and if you haven't, pause this. Go watch all the videos he's put out by now. Hopefully there's more. I hope there's more coming.
Yeah, so yeah, Deadpool 3 is coming September 6th, 2024. That brings us right before the events of Secret Wars, right before the Fantastic Four movie that's supposed to happen, and Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman is back as Wolverine one more time. Now, a lot of people think the question, why bring him back? Logan was such a fitting ending to the character and a nice farewell performance from Hugh Jackman. I don't disagree. But, gonna be honest with you, the character of Wolverine, especially Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, deserves a better ending than a shallow grave with 2 sticks in the shape of an X over it.
I'm gonna say this, and if anybody hears it, I'm gonna get hate for it. So this is the point in time where we find out exactly how many people listen to this podcast. I didn't really like Logan all that much.
Oh, fair enough.
I mean, I'm sorry. It's like it was a competently made movie, but as it's one of those things where you watch it and you go, yes, everyone in this movie did very well at making a movie. Congratulations, you've made a movie. I appreciate that you movied. I did not enjoy the movie you made. I'm sorry. It just, you want to talk about I was not the audience for that? That's what it was. I was not the audience for that. I didn't want a Western X-Men movie. I'm sorry. It wasn't my thing.
Fair enough. Again, fair enough. I think there were people who really wanted the Old Man Logan comic adaptation, and that just wasn't going to happen, considering at the time Fox couldn't use like 90% of the characters in that book.
Yeah, it just I respect it. I understand it. But I got no pleasure out of it. It's like it just, it's fine. It just wasn't for me. So I'm super happy that there's going to be another go round.
And Jackman has said publicly that he would only come back to do Wolverine under the condition that it was a Deadpool movie, because him and Ryan Reynolds, they are friends.
And also, they didn't really get to do Wolverine and Deadpool correctly.
Yeah. I mean, that X-Men Origins Wolverine movie is best forgotten.
And, Deadpool and, by extension, Ryan Reynolds originally got screwed over so hardcore in that. Mm-hmm. I mean, it made you feel so bad for Ryan Reynolds initially. Because anybody who knew anything at the time about Ryan Reynolds, you knew how much he loved the character of Deadpool. In the lead up to that movie, he was like, this is my dream role. Like, all that Green Lantern crap, that was fun. I like comic books. It was what it was, but if there was a dream role I was born to play, Deadpool. And everybody was like, all right. Go forth, man, and do Deadpool. That sounds awesome. And then it was not. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen that movie, it was not. And everybody was like, okay, they did Ryan Reynolds dirty.
The fact that he's aware of how dirty he got done and, made fun of it in the two Deadpool movies.
I like that canonically Deadpool himself in the films is aware of how dirty Deadpool and Ryan Reynolds were done by that film.
Even in his social media post with the video saying that he couldn't keep his mouth sewn shut over it.
Yeah, which is another, nod to, hey, we've got Hugh Jackman in this thing, and also, So, I mean, I like the fact that they're bros, and as the second thing they released shows, because it ends with just pictures of them over the years at various events. Mm-hmm. Of Ryan and Hugh on various red carpets or hanging out together or whatever.
And obviously Hugh Reynolds would not even do all of the Wolverine / Hugh Jackman jokes in the two movies if Jackman wasn't already okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's really funny because if you follow kind of either of them in their kind of careers or what they do in interviews or whatever, you can tell that they have a lot of kind of personal in-jokes back and forth between them. A lot of that is kind of carrying over into the extremely early marketing for this movie, which I like. Just from the very idea of that Hugh Jackman is just kind of hanging out at Ryan Reynolds' house in the reveal. It's like, hey, Hugh, do you want to do this? Yeah, sure, whatever.
And one of the first responses to this was from John Krasinski saying, is this a horror movie? Because he just played Mr. Fantastic in Multiverse of Madness, and he is starring with Ryan Reynolds in a movie coming out early next year. So it's like, sure, why not?
Yeah, which sent a whole bunch of people on a thing of, oh, wait, that means that Krasinski's playing, Mr. Fantastic in the main MCU, which, guys, probably not gonna happen.
It was just an in-joke for the movie
It's an in-joke for the movie that they're doing outside of they've got another project they're doing, and it's a joke. Okay.
Contrary to my own delusions, the world does not revolve around the MCU.
I mean, it'd be kind of nice if it did, because it's kind of the only thing keeping me going at this point. But the thing is, though, is that there is so much in these two little clips with the little in jokes about that Ryan Reynolds is just like wandering around in costume half the time, which I like. And he's got his little Deadpool mug that he's pouring his aviation gin into, yeah. which I like. I hope one day they release the footage from that second video without the wham playing over it. Because whatever ridiculous stuff they were saying to each other has got to just be funny, Yeah. It's got to just be nonsensical and goofy, but it's probably just funny. So I hope one day they release the outtake of that, because that little mock fight of them there. But it does start out with the good point of, you do realize that Logan takes place in the future, right? That they're
and he's even saying that that's their movie, this is our movie.
Also, with the entire next phase of the MCU being a multiverse saga, you guys do realize that whole Logan film is probably going to be, and that happened in a different universe, right? Right.
I hope so. I mean, it's like, I can accept multiple universes. There are some people who can't. In a universe that's now experiencing the multiverse. That's kind of the whole thing here. It's going to start again. People were starting this with Multiverse of Madness in that they wanted this to be cameos the movie. And I think, again, we're also going to get that with Deadpool 3. As we get closer and closer to it, people are going to expect it to be cameos the movie. And when it's not, they're going to say it sucks.
But also, when it is cameos the movie, they get mad at it anyway.
True. Like, people are already joking, like, what if it would be funny if Wolverine died within the first 5 minutes of the movie? Which it would, but it would make so many people angry.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, it would kind of make me angry too, because we've already discussed on the show how much both of us kind of get annoyed at the bring a character back and then immediately kill them off trope. I think both of us would kind of be annoyed, even though it would be funny because it's Deadpool. We already know that the MCU is teasing mutants.
I mean, with Miss Marvel, they've already said one of the characters in Captain America New World Order is going to be a mutant. Namor confirmed to be a mutant. So they're slowly but surely bringing mutants into the MCU. And by the time we get to 2024, this is going to be the big punch with Wolverine himself and Deadpool.
Yeah, and there are already some people that are theorizing that with the release date being what it is, we might get Wolverine in Secret Wars.
I wouldn't doubt that. I'm not against that. I mean, this movie could end with Wolverine and Deadpool smack dab in the middle of the battle. A battle they probably haven't written yet, have never filmed yet, but it's like that could be the teaser. You know, Deadpool and Wolverine will return in Avengers: Secret Wars.
The problem with trying to predict anything in the MCU is that they are having to plot things several years out for things that will have to connect in stuff that hasn't been written yet, much less cast or filmed or,
I mean, they're going to start filming Thunderbolts within the next few months. And this is coming out right after that, and then Fantastic Four is right after that.
Yeah, I mean, people are talking about, how great it is that we finally got the leaked Loki footage online, which has finally happened since our D23 episode. And it looks good, but we haven't even finished filming that season. They stopped filming that season to go to D23 to show that footage, which was, those scenes were completed, and I doubt they were even fully completed, just so there could be footage to show at D23.
Can you imagine if they showed this teaser that went up at D23?
Rioting in the streets, yeah. The thing is, though, they've got things like we said in the D23 episode. They're out there promoting the Daredevil series. They haven't even written a word of a script for the Daredevil series. I don't even think they know yet what the Daredevil series is going to be about.
I think they want to see how things go with his appearance in She-Hulk.
Yeah, which, they've got, 3 episodes to make that happen, so that's the thing about all of this is, yes, we are hype. We are so hype we are doing a special episode on this. We are so hype we are doing a special episode on 2 minutes of 2 actors sitting there going, hi, we're going to make a movie. And most of that is just Wham playing over footage of 2 actors probably speaking gibberish and making punching motions at each other. Such is the power of the MCU.
Power of Ryan Reynolds.
Well, that too, yeah. But we don't know how any of this is going to connect, which makes us look slightly ridiculous, of course. But also,
that makes me even more excited.
3, yeah.
I had this idea the moment, especially the more recent video. I had this idea in my head, and it's not going to happen. I know that this is not going to be the movie, but in my mind, I see if I were going to do Deadpool 3, Wolverine and Deadpool together, the story that I would go with is Deadpool kills the X-Men universe. Deadpool knows what's up. He knows he's been bought by the mouse. He knows this universe is going to get rebooted anyway. He's going to burn it down. And then we get cameos from everybody. Everybody who's ever been in an X-Men movie, both the original cast and the first class characters, all of them, and Deadpool just axes them all. It ain't going to happen, but I would like it to happen.
Oh, that would make me so happy. Just, Anna Paquin wandering in, him going, look, your name was never Marie. You don't even have the right power set. Please leave. Just, it would make my heart happy. I'm sorry. I know it's not going to happen, but the interesting thing is, though, is that, like you said about Hugh Jackman saying that he would never play Wolverine again unless it was for a Deadpool movie, Anna Paquin has said she would never play Rogue again unless Rogue was properly done. Unless she had her full power set, unless she was, unless it was really Rogue from the comics.
And that's fair enough.
Because she always kind of felt like the character was never done correctly.
It kind of wasn't. They tried to combine Rogue with Jubilee and Kitty Pryde.
Yeah.
It kind of didn't work.
Well, it's because they didn't have the rights to Ms. Marvel. I mean, Ms. Marvel, Captain Marvel, in
Carol
the
Danvers.
comics. Yeah, they didn't have the right to Carol Danvers under whatever name she was going at the time of the comics. Because they didn't have the right to Carol Danvers, they didn't have the right to Rogue's complete original backstory in the comics. So they couldn't have Rogue's complete backstory. But the MCU does not have that problem.
Yeah.
So, I'm not saying that Anna Paquin ever will, and honestly, depending on what age you want to make Rogue when she joins the X-Men, Anna Paquin is now, aged out of the part. Unless you want to just be like, she joined the X-Men then. But if you want to redo an origin story, It is interesting to note that some of the things that were problems initially in the making of the Fox X-Men movie are now no longer problems. I, for one, though, am with you on the kind of wiping the slate clean, because I would like to see a fresh start, and honestly, the only things that I personally feel the original movies kind of got correct were Wolverine and Professor X.
And we've already had Professor X come back in Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, and although that was a small scene that I do not particularly feel was done all that well, can we let Patrick Stewart have some time to just hang out with his dog and his wife and enjoy sort of semi-retirement, let him finish off Picard and just kind of kick up his feet or whatever. Like, the dude's in his 80s.
Let him ride off into the sunset.
Yeah, I feel like there is, I kind of want the Wolverine comeback for the Deadpool movie just so that he and Ryan Reynolds can have their do-over, or Ryan Reynolds being done dirty in that initial thing. I really do feel like just having Deadpool and Wolverine getting at least one film to be properly Deadpool and Wolverine before we're done with that, because the two actors are very good together. They're very good friends off screen, it seems. Just let them have one movie to just be those two characters together, and then they can go off and do whatever they want.
One, a proper swan song with these two characters together. I'm all for it before Disney hits the reboot button.
Yeah, and I'm okay with Ryan Reynolds continuing to play Deadpool for as long as he wants, and the audience wants him to. Hugh Jackman, I do think, is kind of ready to retire the character, and I think it's mostly because of that idea of they're continuing to want him to bulk up the part, and we've talked about our objections to that.
The starving himself diet, the dehydrating, the constant working out. Like, look at the way Hugh Jackman looked in that first X-Men movie versus the physique of the later films. Night and day. And if you can have Hugh Jackman look like he did in that first X-Men movie, and that's just Hugh Jackman. That's just how he looks. And that'll be okay for me. He doesn't need to be a huge jacked man.
Yeah, and it's fine. I'm okay if he wants to retire from the part. I think he wants to do this more because it will be fun. And if an actor's having fun with a part, I think they'll keep coming back.
Look at Hemsworth. He was supposed to be done with Thor, but he had so much fun being the character that he's going to keep coming back.
Yeah, or Keanu Reeves has said it about John Wick, that as long as the audience keeps coming to see those movies, he'll keep doing them because he's having so much fun making them. And those have to be brutal to make, just physically. But
another thing that I would love to see in this one is we just saw publicly known Hugh Jackman was just on Broadway with The Music Man. Give us a musical number.
I would love to see just a random musical number that is just Deadpool hallucinating a musical number.
Because again, Hugh Jackman can sing. Pretty sure Ryan Reynolds can sing, or at least he can fake it. So it's like a even if it's a delusion, if it's a
just Deadpool gets hit in the head during a battle sequence and it turns into a musical number. That'd be great. I would love to see that. It would be. That's the thing about Deadpool that I'm not sure they've fully explored in the previous two movies that I would like to see, is that Deadpool can literally be anything. As far as a Deadpool story can literally be anything. It's not just fourth wall break that makes Deadpool Deadpool. Deadpool can be weird animation, strange daydream sequences. You know, you do have your random pop culture references and stuff like that as well, but Deadpool is such a chaotic figure in how he handles things that it really is a anything goes kind of format. Depending on how you write it, and with the introduction of the multiverse, which also brings up in how are you going to get these two characters into the MCU properly, which is going to be some multiverse shenanigans almost certainly. Because Ryan Reynolds did specifically say in the video Deadpool's first appearance in the MCU.
And they had that Marvel Studios logo right over the Deadpool logo.
Yeah. So if this is going to be a proper MCU film, and they do name drop Kevin Feige in the second video.
And Feige has stated that any Deadpool movie will be rated R. So this will be the first R-rated MCU film.
Yeah. But if it is an MCU film, and if it is in that phase, they have already stated that entire phase is going to be a multiverse phase. Which means that almost certainly every single film in that phase is going to have something to do with the multiverse.
So that'll be like, it will either be the end of phase 5 or beginning of phase 6, which is, again, phase 6 already has the Fantastic Four movie and the 2 Avengers movies.
Yeah, and this will be placed before the Kang Dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I mean, this will be right smack dab in the middle of that. But with Deadpool understanding that he is a character and understanding that he is fictional and talking to an audience and what his place in all of this is.
I mean, being aware enough to know that the world he's in will cease to exist by the end of that film.
It would be kind of fascinating to see how that character handles, not only is my world fictional, but there are multiple fictional worlds. And perhaps now I have the power to move between them.
I mean, he was doing time travel at the end of Deadpool too.
I mean, yeah, but time travel within your own fictional world and moving freely between multiple fictional universes, that's a different kettle of corn right there, you know?
Yeah.
And that could bring up some very interesting possibilities if they're willing to do it. I don't know if they're willing to do it.
So before
I
we
mean,
wrap,
they just I'm just gonna bring this up. They just brought in Ki Kwan from Everything Everywhere All at Once, and now we're putting in a Deadpool figure into the multiverse saga in this. Come on, tell me you don't want to see that kind of weirdness.
Deadpool meeting She-Hulk.
Well, yeah, and now we do have She-Hulk, but the thing is that we have not explained yet how She-Hulk is breaking the fourth wall with the audience.
Yeah.
Deadpool breaks the fourth wall with the audience because he knows he's a fictional character, but within the context of the MCU, we do not know why or how She-Hulk is talking to the audience.
Side effect of Hulkness, maybe she's, I don't know, who knows.
It would be interesting to get a character like Deadpool a little more agency in a multiverse context.
Also in a situation where he's grown to care for people, not just Vanessa, but we have his team, Negasonic, Colossus, Cable, Domino. What if those characters are coming back and now he has to be concerned about them too?
Yeah, we don't know.
I want those characters to come back for Deadpool 3. If it's just Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, fine, but you know, that part of me is like, what about your team?
Yeah, we have no confirmation or denial of who may or may not be returning.
What about Dopinder?
Yeah.
Can't do a Deadpool movie without Dopinder.
That's true. So, I mean, do we have any final thoughts for the moment?
I'm still riding the high of this thing happening, and there's likely going to be more of these update videos to come. We saw that with the first two movies. May not be every day, but you know, we're 2 years out. That's a long time. And there's still a bunch of MCU projects to come. 2024 is going to be a packed year between Captain America, between Thunderbolts, and Fantastic Four, and Deadpool 3.
I mean, I'm down.
I'm all for the Make Mine Marvel, but it's going to be, not to mention the possibility, we don't even know yet, of another Spider-Man movie. We don't know when that's happening.
And of course, there's the series as well. I mean, that's just the film end, but
not to mention all the TV shows that are going to be happening at that point. I'm crossing my fingers that maybe Deadpool 4 can be Deadpool and Spider-Man. Please.
I mean, that it's a fun crossover, but we do not know yet if our dear Mr. Holland is re-upping that contract, and for how much more.
Yeah, it's true.
Still up in the air.
And you know, I think that we are less than 2 months away from Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, and then we get the packed year of 2023 with Ant-Man, Guardians, Marvels, and Blade.
Yeah, and of course all the TV series that are coming out in that as well. So
yeah, so it's like I'm all for it. I love Marvel, but it almost feels too packed. But it also makes me even more excited because now they have to get more creative.
And you know what? I mean, keep digging into the obscure Marvel character stuff.
I mean, we're just weeks away from getting Werewolf by Night, an obscure character in himself.
Yeah, and Man-Thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So yeah, I don't think there's anything else we could. We already talked for over almost 40 minutes of a 2-minute video. That's how excited we are for this thing.
Can you tell we like Deadpool?
We should totally do the Deadpool movies at some point.
Yeah, no, they're on the list, but I don't know. That's maybe come Valentine's Day might be a special treat. We don't know.
So we're gonna wrap things up here. We're both super excited for Deadpool 3 with Hugh Jackman, with Ryan Reynolds, and whoever else is gonna be in that movie. So I think that's all we can say for Deadpool 3 right now. Next full episode is going to be the start of spooky season with our discussion on season 1 of What We Do in the Shadows. And that's going to be very fun to talk about. So we will talk to you all then. Bye.
Wham.
As promised.
If you want to help the fight for human rights in the U.S., the American Civil Liberties Union works to protect constitutional rights for all Americans. Their website is aclu.org. If you need reproductive services in the U.S. or wish to donate to those who do, go to abortionfunds.org for more info. The battle isn't over until the last person surrenders. The fight continues.
Don't let the magic stop here.
Join our conversation online on Facebook at Rewatching the Magic.
Twitter at Rewatch the Magic.
And of course, new episodes every week at rewatchingthemagic.podbean.com.
Remember, the magic is for everyone.
It only stops if you let it.